In the article that I just published on my website, fiddleguru.com, and on easingarticles.com, I talk about the scale and how to use the scale in various ways. Now, if you are even a beginning fiddle player, you've probably already learned this particular scale. That's what I would call the default finger position for playing fiddle. You can play that scale starting on the A string, the D string, and the G string. That's a 1-octave scale. Now there's an advantage in starting from the G string because you can play the 2nd octave of that scale without running out of strings. This is what I mean. I would like to draw your attention to 2 things about what I just did. One is I repeated what is called the tone center. In the G scale, the tone center is G. The notes go away from G and then they come back to G. So this is the G, open G string, the 3rd finger on the D plays a G note, and the 2nd finger on the E string also plays that E note. Also, when you play across the strings like that, your hand position must change to play the G scale. One of the common beginner mistakes is like this. Now I really played 2 different scales. I played the G scale and then the A scale because I neglected to get that 2nd finger in the low position on the A string. Right there. And on the E. That's why I recommend repeating that tone center. It helps your ear, helps you to play in tune. Also in that article, I talk about playing sequences. For example, if you get a chance to do a workshop with Daryl Anger, you'll hear him recommend practicing sequences like. Now that sounds like I'm starting to play Blackberry Blossom. In fact, we can take that sequence and run it all the way down to the open G string. On the sequence, I also repeated the tone center. You can either do that or not as you please. This is more advanced work. There's probably less likelihood that you'll misplace where your fingers are supposed to go. You can also do the sequence from the open G and work up. Like that. Any sequence might work in this way. Something like that. So that all works around the scale, and it involves your use of the scale, playing sequences. One other thing I mentioned in that article was the pentatonic scale. And that works like this. In the pentatonic scale, which is a 5-note scale, you leave out the 4th and the 7th degrees of the scale. Here's 1, 2, 3, skip 4. Play 5, 6, skip 7, play 8. Again, going further, 1, 8 becomes 1, the tone center. 1, 2, 3, skip 4, play 5, 6, skip 7 to play 8. And the same going down. As fiddle players, we can get a lot of use out of these pentatonic scales. Sounds a lot like fiddling, doesn't it?